It's a beautiful night for a walk in Pandora, and I know just the walk. First though, we're jumping into Borderlands 1 as we take a look at Lord of the Rings Easter eggs. We'll start in Rustcommons East at the middle of nowhere bounty board, and we're picking up a quest called A Bug Problem. There's a few short steps to get out of the way, bumping off various critters and taking down this big blue meanie. Pow, pow, kaboom! But eventually you'll end up around here. This spider ant monster is known as Helob, a reference to Shelob, the giant spider that Frodo and Sam encounter in Lord of the Rings. Shelob's lesser half is found here on the map just below Janestown. I highly recommend defeating Helob as fast as possible. The last thing you want is him taking you home for dinner with the missus. Next we find ourselves in the BL1 DLC, the secret armory of General Knox, specifically in the Sunken Sea, and over here we can pick up the quest called Purple Juice. This mission is filled with midgety mayhem as we head around the area restoring the flow of purple drank for a chap called Thirsty and his friends. You'll undoubtedly recognise the names associated with each of the pumps, Brandybuck, Took, Gamgee and Underhill being the surnames of the four heroic halflings, albeit with Frodo Baggins' stealthier alias. Once you've done the pumps, you can head back to Thirsty as stylishly as possible. Our last one in BL1 takes us to the Claptrap's New Robot Revolution DLC. In Tartarus Station, and visited during the mission Spa vs Spa, we see that one of the locations is simply known as the Pip Inn. Another nice little nod to Lord of the Rings. Right, let's fast travel back to Borderlands 2. Once you've finished the main story on TVHM or UVHM, return to Claptrap's place in Windshear Waste from the very start of the game. If we take a look in the furnace, we find an item called Geary's Unbreakable Gear. It reads, "Only a brisk walk to the Iridium Blight will reward the courier." Just like the One Ring, Geary's gear must be destroyed in the fiery mountain in which it was created. We've got a journey ahead of us, so let's get going. Here's maps of the route I'll be taking if you prefer that, or you can just follow along on this epic journey. The key requirement here is that we have to walk the gear all the way to Iridium Blight. So no fast travel, no vehicles, and definitely no singing "They're taking the hunters to Iridium Blight, Iridium Blight, Iridium Blight" at all. You also can't be downed, respawn, or leave the game and reload. You can fight though, so bring something to defend yourself, but I'd recommend just keeping moving carefully and avoid trouble where possible. Rerunning this little activity, I can't help but feel the weight of the gear in my hand. The broader comparison to Gearbox and Borderlands itself, perhaps a foreshadowing. Borderlands 2 had so much going on. At this point, the franchise had found its own personality. The attitude, the art style, depth of mechanics, variety in the world, variety of play, characters, guns, items, humour, and the promise of more to come. It really was something very special. Something truly badass. Sadly, I feel because these games are ahead of the trend, many gamers missed out, or simply missed the point. Players might clear the main story and think the game was over, unaware of how small a fraction of the experience this actually was. For players who stuck around though, they got to experience one of the highest peaks in gaming history. Now as we head to Iridium Blight and up the volcano, I can't shift the sense that there's something of a parallel in what's about to come. Perhaps Tolkien knew all along. So we finally found Geary, and I know just what he's thinking.
Silly, fat vault hunters. Gives it to me. I get it! I've got the process! It's finally mine! Maybe it's a legendary! I'm gonna jump off this cliff!
Something like that. Then these Rakk will fly in like the eagles in Lord of the Rings, bringing with them some tasty loot crates. Hopefully the Lords of RNG will be on your side, but if nothing else, this middle chest will always drop an E-Tech gun for you. And once you've pilfered all you want from those, just continue up the volcano for one more chance at looty goodness. That's not all though. You can find Geary here anytime you like, and if rather than bring him his gear you decide to bump him off instead, you'll find that just below that fleshy exterior there's more loot to be had. Yes, Geary drops exclusive skins for each of the Vault Hunters at random, so feel free to farm him until you're suitably stylish. Here's the heads. Now we're done here, let's make haste to Borderlands 3.
Fly, you fools!
So for this one, we're here in Conrad's Hold on Pandora, and if you come to this location on the map near the slaughter shaft, you can find a robot head laying on the ground. The quest it offers is called Demon in the Dark, and reads,
"A bot head without a body? Surely this indicates some deeper mystery in the dark, just waiting to be uncovered."
Damn Varkins! I'm right. What fortunate you came along, adventurer. I am Ren, scion of Alkanost, the most legendary explorer in all the galaxy. I am on a quest to reunite with Alkanost, but my head was riven from my frame by those nasty Varkids. It's just inside those doors.
I think we can help out. What follows as we attempt to reunite Ren with her friends is a harrowing journey into mines and cavernous depths, with various dangers along the way, and even a cool little puzzle to solve. So I definitely recommend coming here and playing it through for yourself, if you're brave enough. Given you make it this far, you'll eventually find an eerily familiar looking room, where we uncover more about the fate of Ren's companions.
Our party is in peril. Typhon has barred the doors and Leda searches for an alternate path out of this place. But their stomach's empty and our process is dim. In despair, the two agree to forever bond and seek a ring, so they may be joined at least in death.
Alkanost! There is another signal, adventurer!
Ooh, something else over here. Let me pick that up. Whoops.
An accident.
The Varkids scatter as it comes. The demon of the deep, Lagramar, left to fester in the shadows of this cursed place. Now we are trapped. A mistranslated ruin is the culprit. This isn't an Iridian city, but a necropolis.
Did you hear that?
Well, it seems that disturbance accidentally caused by no one in particular has awakened a monster down here. A beast that lurks in the dark, known as Lagramar. This whole quest is something of a parody of the journey the Fellowship of the Ring take through the mines of Moria, and now it's our time to face the Borderlands version of the Balrog. That's enough of that.
Recover it, adventurer!
I love the classic Borderlands trolling by giving us a tink instead of a tank. Lagramar does drop a unique blue shotgun called the Burning Chomper, which has a very cool effect when fired, imitating the Balrog's fiery whip, which is said to have many throngs. Also, it looks quite pretty and goes boom, boom. Speaking of boom, our next reference is found in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
You made it! Well done! For a squire, anyway.
While in the Wheatwild dankness, you can acquire a quest from this valiant and noble knight. The side quest A Knight's Toil is full of its own Easter eggs, following the mythology of King Arthur. However, towards the end of this quest, on our way to find Mervyn the Magician, there's this short scene.
Oh, Let's see. These elvish symbols say, speak, friend, and enter. Ooh, idea! Squire, what's the elvish word for friend?
You having a laugh? I barely know the common word for friend.
Gosh, fine. Mervyn, 'tis I, Sir Claptrap, mightiest of heroes. I come bearing Excalibur, so open up.
Enter.
That worked? Huh. Now that's more like it. Finally, the respect I deserve.
Claptrap is such a melon. And why? Why, when a company and franchise that obviously like referencing Lord of the Rings, a fantasy story which centralizes around the power of a ring, then create a fantasy game where the player can equip 2 rings, but they don't bother adding a legendary ring as a reference? They could have done so much with this! The ring could have been called the 2 ring, and any player wearing it could pull more aggro from enemies, or after crouching the player could temporarily turn invisible, or occasionally after a melee attack the player could temporarily turn invisible, or the ring could have given you a combination of buffs and nerfs while it was constantly whispering silly voice lines to you. The ring could have modified your spell to fire out taters! But guys, why is there no ring? Come on! But my very favourite Lord of the Rings Easter egg is found in the Borderlands 2 DLC, Tiny Tina's assault on Dragon Keep. Once you've made it through the mines of Avarice, we find our friend Claptrap once again.
In the distance, you see a lonely wizard blocking your path.
Maybe he can help us out of here. I say we talk to him.
With words.
I don't know why y'all looking at me.
Oh, no! Another band of adventurers looking to take down the sorcerer. Look, you won't make it. You'll either die or be enslaved. And I can't in good conscience let you continue in your foolhardy quest. You shall not pass! Damn it! Fine. If you really want to get to the sorcerer's castle, I'll mark the exit on your map. But if you die, you won't be able to say I didn't warn you, because you'll be dead.
You'll even be able to help Clappy obtain a mighty beard, which any true Gandalf ripoff deserves. Although if you get this far in the quest with this gun in your hand, whatever you do, don't turn it in. But that's a tale for another day. And that's it. This was just the Lord of the Rings references that I know about, so please let us know in the comments if there's any I've missed. Also, I'd love to know which of these was your favourite Easter egg. For now though, farewell my brave Vault Hobbits. My work is now finished. Here at last, on the shores of the sea, comes an end of our fellowship. Go in peace.
Like and subscribe!
Or they could have called it the 3 ring, or the 4 ring. They could have had a set of up to 5 rings, missing the 1 ring. It could have been Tina's Precious, or the Ruling Bling. Or they could have called it a 1 ring, spelled the other way. It could make your equipped weapon have an aura when near a badass or boss. It could slowly drain your health, but give your melee attacks lifesteal. It could have reduced all incoming damage from dark magic. It could have given you a nice damage buff, but occasionally slips off the player's finger. It could have turned everyone's heads into taters!